Meghan in this family, we don't speak to people like that. One sentence, one icy shutdown. And according to royal insiders, that was the exact moment Queen Elizabeth II realized that Meghan Markle was not going to quietly blend into royal life. She was going to challenge it. What looked on camera like fairy tale glamour behind palace walls was allegedly turning into a collision of ego, protocol, and silent royal power plays. And the most dangerous part? The Queen never needed to scream. She never needed dramatic interviews. She never needed press conferences. She used silence, timing, and authority like weapons. And insiders say Meghan kept walking directly into them. As preparations for Harry and Meghan's wedding exploded into a global media obsession, Meghan reportedly became obsessed with perfection. Every flower, every plate, every tiny detail had to reflect Hollywood royalty entering actual royalty. But then came the Windsor Castle menu tasting incident, the moment many insiders whisper was the first real red flag. Meghan allegedly tasted a dish she believed was vegan, only to discover it contained egg. What should have been a small correction reportedly became a full confrontation. Palace staff were stunned. Voices rose. Tension filled the room. A catering staff member tried explaining calmly, but Meghan allegedly kept escalating, talking loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear. The atmosphere reportedly became deeply uncomfortable. And then the Queen walked in.
Yesterday, where basically going up to the wedding, they were at Windsor Castle for a menu tasting, and Meghan wound up having a really tense exchange with one of the members of the royal staff and kind of blew up on them because they made a dish. She wanted them to make a total vegan dish, and she could have sworn that she tasted eggs in this dish. And she was berating the staffer, saying that she could taste egg, and apparently got so out of control that the Queen had to walk in and calm her down.
The room reportedly froze. No warnings, no intermediaries, no aides stepping in first, just the monarch herself. And according to reports, the Queen looked directly at Meghan and delivered a sentence so cold, so controlled, and so devastatingly royal that people still talk about it years later. Meghan, in this family, we don't speak to people like that. That was it. No shouting, no public humiliation. Just one sentence that allegedly cut through the entire room like a blade. Meghan had entered royal life believing celebrity status carried weight everywhere. But in that moment, she reportedly learned the hierarchy inside those palace walls worked very differently.
And the reason this happened was after the wedding, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had a largely vegan menu. When planning the wedding, Meghan Markle was angry at the caterer for putting some egg in a soup that was supposed to be vegan. Where Meghan Markle acted a little bit too angry and said, "Do you even know what vegan is?" Which seeing that angered Queen Elizabeth, who's worked with that catering staff for years. It was overheard that Queen Elizabeth was angry with Meghan Markle and told her, "We don't talk to staff like that."
And according to royal insiders, Meghan was rattled because this was not some assistant correcting her. This was the Queen herself personally intervening. The woman who had handled presidents, wars, scandals, divorces, constitutional crises, now stepping into a catering dispute because palace staff mattered to her that much. That incident reportedly shattered Meghan's confidence inside royal circles far more than the public ever realized. Suddenly, palace workers began seeing a pattern, and the Queen allegedly noticed it too. Then came the Windsor Gardener situation, and this story is where things started feeling less like awkward adjustment and more like a quiet palace war brewing beneath polished smiles. According to royal historian Hugo Vickers, Meghan allegedly spoke harshly to one of the undergardeners while he was simply doing his job. The head gardener reportedly saw everything unfold and was furious, but confronting Meghan directly could have created an even bigger explosion. So instead, he did something few people inside palace walls would ever dare to do unless they were truly disturbed. He went straight to the Queen. Now this is where the story becomes almost cinematic, because the Queen didn't send an assistant. She didn't write a formal letter. She reportedly briefed her driver, got into the car herself, and went directly to confront Meghan in person. Think about how extraordinary that is. A monarch in her 90s personally driving into the middle of staff drama because she allegedly believed boundaries had to be established immediately. According to reports, she arrived and firmly told Meghan, "You cannot be rude to staff." Just like that. Direct, immediate, final. Meghan reportedly did not expect the Queen to appear personally, but that's the thing insiders always said about Queen Elizabeth. The quieter she became, the more serious the situation usually was.
Chose her tiara, and when she was having her hair rehearsal, if you like, when they were sort of going through the motions, with her hairdresser bought a £6 plastic tiara from Accessorize because, frankly, it doesn't really matter, you know.
And then came the tiara battles, the sparkling royal disaster nobody expected. Because what should have been a magical bridal tradition reportedly turned into another power struggle behind palace gates. Traditionally, the queen bonded with royal brides by allowing them to choose from pieces in her personal tiara collection. It was symbolic, intimate, respectful. But according to insiders, Meghan allegedly wanted the tiara sent over early so her hairstylist could rehearse with it before the wedding. Harry reportedly pushed aggressively to make it happen, repeatedly contacting Angela Kelly, the Queen's fiercely loyal dresser and gatekeeper of royal jewelry. That's when things reportedly exploded behind closed doors. Harry allegedly demanded the tiara be brought immediately. Palace insiders described it as a showdown, but what Harry seemingly forgot was one crucial detail: those jewels were not celebrity accessories. They represented monarchy, history, and crown authority stretching back generations. And according to one royal aide, the Queen's response was brutally simple: it is not a toy. 4 words. That was all she needed. Suddenly, the entire argument collapsed. Because to the Queen, this wasn't about hair rehearsal. It was about respect for the institution itself.
Chose her tiara, and when she was having her hair rehearsal, if you like, when they were sort of going through the motions, with her hairdresser bought a £6 plastic tiara from Accessorize because, frankly, it doesn't really matter, you know.
But the tiara drama somehow got even worse. According to royal biographer Robert Lacey, Harry allegedly reached a breaking point and declared, "What Meghan wants, Meghan gets." Imagine the audacity of that sentence echoing through palace corridors built on centuries of obedience to crown protocol. Insiders say when the Queen heard about it, the atmosphere changed instantly, because now this was no longer wedding stress. This was becoming a direct challenge to royal authority itself. And the Queen reportedly answered with another devastating line that completely crushed the debate: Meghan cannot have whatever she wants. She gets the tiara I give her. End of discussion. No negotiation, no compromise. Harry reportedly backed down immediately because even he understood the line had finally been crossed. And what makes these stories feel even darker in hindsight is the pattern slowly emerging underneath all of them. Every confrontation seemed to revolve around the exact same thing: Meghan allegedly trying to modernize, personalize, or control royal traditions, while the Queen quietly reminded everyone who actually controlled the monarchy. No dramatic public fights, no emotional interviews, just calm corrections delivered with terrifying precision. And insiders say by this point, palace staff had already started whispering that the relationship between Meghan and the Queen was becoming far more tense behind the scenes than the public could possibly imagine. The ultimate royal shutdown reportedly arrived when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle decided they no longer wanted full royal life, but still wanted royal advantages. And according to insiders, this was the exact moment Queen Elizabeth II stopped treating the situation like family tension and started treating it like a constitutional threat. Harry and Meghan allegedly proposed a half-in, half-out arrangement. They wanted freedom, independence, private business deals, Hollywood influence, while still keeping royal titles, status, privileges, and selective duties attached to the crown. To them, it may have sounded modern, flexible, progressive. But to the Queen, reports suggest it sounded impossible, because monarchy survives on structure, not customization. And once exceptions begin, the entire institution starts cracking. So the Queen reportedly convened the now infamous Sandringham Summit in January 2020. A crisis meeting. Senior royals gathered, futures discussed, loyalties questioned. And when it was finally over, the Queen reportedly delivered one of the coldest verdicts of her reign: no half-in, half-out arrangement would ever happen. They were either fully in or fully out. There would be no hybrid monarchy designed around celebrity convenience, no special category, no personalized royalty package. The Queen didn't negotiate, she ruled. And according to insiders, that decision absolutely stunned Harry because he allegedly believed some compromise could still be reached. But Queen Elizabeth reportedly saw the danger immediately. If Harry and Meghan were allowed to commercialize royalty while selectively participating in it, the monarchy itself could lose control of its own image forever. Then came another moment people still dissect to this day: the Queen's 2019 Christmas broadcast. At first glance, it looked ordinary. Family photographs placed carefully around her desk, future heirs visible, tradition intact. But then royal watchers noticed something shocking. Harry, Meghan, and baby Archie were missing entirely, not tucked away in the background, not hidden in a corner, completely absent. Meanwhile, William, Catherine, Charles, Camilla, Prince Philip, and historic royal figures filled the room around the Queen. Palace sources claim the photos represented the direct line of succession, but insiders say Harry and Meghan reportedly took it personally. And honestly, how could they not? Because in royal language, omission speaks louder than confrontation. The Queen didn't need to criticize them publicly. She simply adjusted the visual narrative, and the world noticed immediately. Then came the darkest chapter of all, the Queen's final hours at Balmoral. A moment that should have united the family reportedly exposed how fractured things had truly become. According to reports, then Prince Charles instructed Harry to travel without Meghan. Initially, Sussex representatives claimed the couple would travel together, but at the last minute, Meghan reportedly did not go. Royal correspondent Katie Nicholl later confirmed Meghan was not invited to join the family during those final moments. Think about the symbolism there. One of the most historic and emotional moments in modern royal history, and Meghan reportedly remained outside the inner circle. That silence from the palace said everything, and according to reports, tensions were already boiling before that tragedy even unfolded. Harry and Meghan allegedly began getting excluded from royal dinners because they repeatedly ignored protocol. Royal dinners have strict traditions, couples separated strategically, hierarchy carefully respected, behavior tightly controlled. But Meghan reportedly viewed many of these traditions as outdated and restrictive. Public displays of affection reportedly made guests uncomfortable. Seating customs allegedly became points of conflict. And instead of dramatic arguments, the Queen reportedly chose a far more devastating response. She simply stopped inviting them. Quiet exclusion, no public explanation, just doors slowly closing. That is the terrifying elegance of royal power. You often don't realize you've been shut out until the invitations stop arriving. And perhaps one of the harshest blows of all came when the Queen blocked Harry and Meghan from using the Sussex royal brand commercially. They had reportedly invested massive amounts building that identity. Websites, marketing, branding, global plans. But the Queen's ruling was final. If they were no longer carrying out official duties, they could not market themselves as royals, period. That single decision reportedly destroyed huge parts of their original post-royal strategy overnight. Titles could remain socially, but royal authority would not become a Hollywood business model under her watch. Then came the military roles, and this reportedly hurt Harry deeply. The Queen stripped him of honorary military appointments tied to working royal status, including Captain General of the Royal Marines, a role previously held by Prince Philip for more than 6 decades. Harry had served in Afghanistan. He had real military credentials, real loyalty to service. But the Queen allegedly believed royal privilege could never exist separately from royal responsibility. Service and status came together. Lose one, lose the other. And just like that, those roles were reassigned. No emotional exceptions, no sentimental compromise. Duty came first. And finally came the Commonwealth Day service in March 2020, Harry and Meghan's final appearance as senior working royals. But according to royal watchers, the palace carefully staged every detail to send one last unmistakable message. Unlike previous years, Harry and Meghan were seated before the Queen arrived. No grand procession beside her. No symbolic unity with William and Catherine. No emotional farewell ceremony. The entire arrangement quietly reflected their reduced status without anybody needing to say a word publicly. That is what made Queen Elizabeth so formidable. She rarely exploded. She repositioned. She adjusted seating plans, invitations, appearances, photographs, titles, and timing until the message became impossible to miss. Total authority hidden behind perfect composure. And by the end of it all, one question still hangs over the entire royal saga like smoke that never fully disappears. Was Meghan Markle trying to modernize the monarchy, or did Queen Elizabeth see something dangerous long before everyone else did?